Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the PSDCast. This is your commissioner, Tim, hanging out with you today. Uh, we have Bart with us also,
Hello.
the White Sox GM, and then we also have Nolan here, the Padres GM.
Yeah, the much cursed Padres GM.
And also, what this podcast will feature in most of its entirety is Nolan's team, and then we have Will here also to discuss.
So to preface this, on the last podcast, I was robbed of the top five GMs, and this podcast, I think everybody's just gonna cook the Padres. So,
Everybody's gonna cook the Padres, huh?
yep.
All right, so where do we think we should dive in here? We're just going to kind of do a deep dive into the history and the stewardship of Nolan Danziger. Yeah, he started in his first year was 2026. Won 45 games total. Should we start with that, or where do you want to go, Nolan?
Well, I mean,
Little
we
did
haven't
we
really
know-
gone up from the 45
I was gonna
games.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, little did we all know that was a precursor to.
Wait, I'm sorry. That was 106 games only. So hold on,
Okay,
that
okay.
wasn't he came in midway through the season. So
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk these first two seasons here. We have a 64 win season, then 92. Looked like you were going to be a promising GM.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened. It's kind of hard to judge off of my first couple seasons because obviously some of it is, the last guy's players, and then some of it is actually me making changes. I remember I had a couple players on those teams who were like actually supposed to be pretty good. And some
we
of
had
them, like Garza, some of them really paid off for me, and then some of them, there was just nothing.
do you remember Phil Sargent?
I remember the name, yeah. I don't really remember anything about him. I'm sure I traded him to you. We probably traded him back and forth a whole bunch.
It seems like your best pitchers were not all that fantastic that year. You had John Taylor at age 20, putting up 3.3 WAR. Actually, a pretty decent season for a 20-year-old. And then Barry Johnson, who actually I do believe might have been a Cincinnati Red. Yeah, he was. Your second highest WAR leader that first year, on your pitching staff at least. And it looks like you had a pretty subpar team. So you came in midway through 2026. You had fully 2027, and then you make the playoffs with this 2028 team. Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, I remember a lot of the names. Like, I remember Garza being really good. I remember Bryce Carter. I remember players like Jonathan Geddes, who was like not super great for me, and then I traded him to. I don't think Jeremy was the Texas GM. I think it was Eric Eve. I think
Eric
it was.
Eve, yeah.
And he actually ended up having a really good career for Texas, and then I brought him back later on. Although I guess if he's 30, maybe I had already brought him back. I don't remember the timeline
Who's this again? This
exactly.
is
It was Geddes, Jonathan Geddes.
Jonathan Geddes. Yeah, he played for you twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2028 he was coming back to you. He had already
Yeah,
played
okay.
his original seasons with you, and then he came back.
Yeah, so I remember some of the names.
Do you remember this playoff run or what happened here?
Just taking a guess, I'm assuming Otter probably beat me. It looks like I
Hold on,
lost in the divisional
I think we can
round.
go back
so-
here. You won the wild card and then you lost in
Yeah.
the best of 5. Oh, what could have been? You
I
could
think,
you would have faced off with me.
yeah, I think I remember this because I think I was, this is dumb that I remember this, but I was scorekeeping a baseball game, it was my summer job, whatever. And I remember I didn't have a good enough Wi-Fi signal to watch the stream, and I was getting pissed. And then I just found out I lost like a couple hours later.
Yeah, lost to Otter. That's tough.
Yeah.
Those Dodger teams were super good.
Yeah, that was, I mean, as good as like people like Pierre and Chris and all of them are now. Otter was that good for, as far as I know, the entire time that he was in the league, but definitely as long as him and
May
I
have
were
been
both in the
better
league.
than they are now.
What was that?
He had the gift of some really good teams too.
I said he may have been better than they are now. He was something else.
Yeah, it was. So after that 2028 season being eliminated by the Dodgers, ended up with two 500 seasons practically. And then in 2031, you decided to rebuild. I'm guessing selling everybody. Do you remember anything about the 2030s, or was that just like a bum out for you? Well, I mean, I guess the end wasn't too bad, but
No, just I don't really remember a lot about it. I'm trying to remember like when that was, just
let's look
in my
into
life in
to
general.
2038.
Oh, we had some. I remember some of these
This was
players.
this was
Crip,
yeah,
Rick,
Crip.
Doug,
Oh,
Jim. Look at this team. Hang
Crip.
on. Go
East
back and
LA.
look at the
Hold on,
whole.
I gotta look at Crip real quick.
Okay, okay.
Crip
Oh,
G
God.
Carrington here.
Yes, that's my
Out of
guy.
East LA. Yeah, what can you say? He had an almost Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
He was pretty on the cusp, 4 All-Stars,
Kind
one
of an
Silver
early
Slugger.
retirement.
What'd you say, Will?
Kind of an early retirement.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he
really
ended up.
early retirement.
Mhm.
I think he ended up
Yeah.
his ratings went down big time, but he was good in his prime too, a lefty. Let's see who else he had.
Go back. There's a go back and look at like Crip. I had Crip Carrington, Rudy Ivy. I don't remember, but obviously he was pretty good. I had Rick Roy, who we all know, Doug Garza,
Hold
Jim
on,
Garner.
we gotta look at Rick here.
My guy Rick. He was my guy
when
forever.
was he drafted one overall?
I think I drafted him maybe second because I think Leroy went first
I wish
actually.
we had history data, but
Can we really not see where he was drafted?
I think we'd have to look it up on Stats Plus. But
Let me
It
pull it
should
up
be in
real
his
quick.
history, shouldn't it? Yeah, maybe not. Doesn't have history on there.
I mean, he had a good career, 222 million earned.
I'm pretty sure him and Lee went like back to back, or I remember a big thing about them.
Yeah, his twin Leroy,
Yeah.
the complete opposite person of Rick, or the complete opposite.
Yeah, so Rick went second overall.
Who was one? Lee.
RJ Young actually drafted by the Rockies.
Young. Oh, I remember him. He was pretty good too.
Yeah,
I thought,
he was
right?
nice. He was a two-way guy.
Yeah.
He played for me at
So
one
that
point.
the top five there was RJ Young, Rick Roy, Tommy Burgess, Leroy, and Hal Coleman was the top five for that draft. That was a pretty good draft when you look at all the top six had 30, 25 was the lowest WAR, and that was out of a pitcher.
Coleman was pretty good.
Which guy?
Coleman.
Hal Coleman for
Hal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had talked about him like an episode or two ago. He was so good
Yeah,
for
'cause
Chicago.
I drafted him and then traded him.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember a lot of these players. This
then,
was like my peak, I think. Right
someone
here,
that got
player-wise.
resurfaced today by Nolan, Jim Garner.
Yep.
Again, an almost Hall of Fame career. I mean, couldn't put it in the bag after 13 years, but
Never got out
Was he a
of
good yeah.
Armstrong's shadow either.
no, yeah, he really was either the number 2 or the number 3 behind Armstrong.
Yeah, Armstrong had a much longer career. Like he was
Armstrong
better
was
for
20
longer.
years,
Yeah,
like straight up.
it's
So
tough to beat. The 20 years.
20
it's
years
tough
as
to
a
beat.
catcher is insane.
Yeah. Oh, here's another name, Kenny Kawaguchi.
Oh, Kenny the
that's a
wheelchair
nice-
boy.
Kenny the wheelchair boy. He was my guy. Pettit was on that team too.
Kenny Kawaguchi. Knuckleballer, right?
Yeah, the knuckleballer. And
He
the
can come
wheelchair.
back and pitch today
I
Probably
guarantee he could.
at age 47.
Yeah.
The Jamie Moyer treatment.
See, I never used him as a starter. Like he started one game for me, and everybody else, I guess, had him profiled as a starter.
He
But
ended up
I
having a
swear-
more successful career as a starter, I'd say.
Yeah, I'll take it to my
Um,
grave that when he was on my team, he had a terrible split against lefties. Like he could not pitch against them, or maybe he was
Versus
either
the-
really good against lefties or
Oh
really
no, he was
bad.
good versus the lefty. He was probably trash
Yeah.
versus the righty. Here we could look. Yeah, I mean pretty sub. Actually, well, as he went through his career and he started facing him more routinely,
Yeah,
his
no, he
game
definitely
started,
got
like,
better for sure. But that's
he
why I
improved
never
his
started him.
split. But yeah, he was. I think he initially, when I remember in that draft in when was he drafted? I don't know. Whenever the draft was, I remember him coming out specifically as like I felt like he was a left-handed specialist, or even just like a lefty reliever more so, not the starter that he ended up turning into be. Let's see, who else do we have?
God, this was my best team for sure. Like career
Ooh,
wise, like
a young Rashid.
yeah, he was so good. He ended up having a pretty good career too, just not for me. That seems to be kind of the trend here.
Got the bulk of his value with me, but also played some
Yep.
significant innings with Vana, with you. Yeah, Rashid.
I remember Carmine Williams was on that team.
Oh,
Another
Carmine.
guy who wasn't quite filled out for me, and I think he ended up getting a lot better use with you. But still, another one of those guys who,
I think
like, why could he not? No, he ended up putting it together with Mike, it
the
looks
thing
like.
was
But
is he ended up turning into a reliever.
yeah,
More
just
so.
another one of those guys that, like, if I had all these names on my team, just at the wrong time.
He was good as a reliever too. I mean, really, really good. Like, I'm surprised he didn't get a reliever of the year in some of these years. You know, in St. Louis
Yeah.
right here, this little stretch. I mean, 151 ERA plus. I mean, even in New York, he had 110. He still had 178 ERA plus. You know, I mean, but realistically, like he had such a good career in St. Louis as a reliever, to the point where I feel like if maybe you had given him the shot as a reliever, that like he would have like I don't know, like the statistics would have changed your mind in trading him to me. But
Probably,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know. He ended up not being all that fantastic with me also, and I started him, so I also made that mistake. You know, I didn't really see the relief value, I guess.
Right. I wonder what was his pitches, just out of curiosity, because I don't remember a lot about
Fastball
his
slider
stuff.
change,
Yeah.
but a lefty again. So I mean, he's
Right.
kind of like just a little different. Let's see who else was on this team. Joe Scott, Clarence Jackson. Didn't have too many of
I
like
remember the names, but I don't really remember
right.
any of them being significant other than like all my hitters. Joe Farrell ended up
Oh,
actually having
I
a
wish
really
this guy
good
had
career.
panned. He had such a cool name.
Oh yeah, he was a cool dude.
Zenos Papa Georgiou. I don't know how you say that, but and then 2039, your second playoff year in a row, your longest playoff streak. Not trying to dig in there. I promise.
That was unnecessary, but okay.
No, it's not.
I say we do try and dig in there.
That is, yeah. I mean, this is the, yeah.
Last appearance.
Yeah, my last playoff appearance. Thanks, Will.
Oh, is this your last playoff appearance, really?
Yeah.
What year is this? 2039?
2039. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Man,
20
no,
years
it's been
ago.
a minute.
20
my
years.
goodness.
It's just 20 years, guys.
That's-
It's okay.
Whoa, you're one season away from breaking the Pirates record.
Yeah.
Do it.
Was
As
this
a Pirates
the
fan, I would appreciate
was this
it.
the year that, or was after this year was when we started expansions? Maybe that like is
no.
what killed it.
No, that
I
was
don't know. I don't
2043.
think so.
Expansion
Hold
was
on.
43 or 44. 'cause that's when they
43.
switched
So
to
okay, so you were already dead in
White
the
Sox.
water by then.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So you had those 2 good years. Didn't win. Tough luck. 83 wins in 2040. 90 in 2041 and didn't end up making the playoffs.
Not only did I not make the playoffs that year, I was 19 games back after winning 90 games, which is almost as crazy
Wow.
as winning 94 games and being 14 games back. I made the playoffs that year, though, so I'm not as upset. But, I mean, I had good teams, like good enough teams, I'll say. 'Cause
Again,
obviously,
another team led by Rick, Crip,
Yeah.
Doug.
Joe Farrell, who still wasn't quite filled out yet, but
Yeah, we
he
haven't
was
really
getting
looked
there.
into him too much. He always seemed to be kind of a shorter career too, only 9 years.
Yeah.
Seemed to have some really good years with you though. Fit in that ballpark.
Yeah, he had some really good years, and
Oh
then
yeah, that avoid
just
K.
never
He could play
really put
today
it.
too.
Yeah.
But
He was an interesting guy who, like, I never considered him a big prospect, but he really worked for me.
really panned out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then your
here's something
staff.
Interesting.
Oh, sorry. What was that part?
Surprisingly, we have only made 2 trades together.
Yeah, I don't trade with
Oh.
a lot of people. I trade with a lot of the
You
same
trade with-
people.
You trade with Vegas a ton.
I trade with Chris a lot too, because he's always got
Yeah.
something he's trying to sell me.
But-
Like
Yeah,
he's he's always got some player who like he's like, dude, this guy will work in your park, and I'm like, all right, we'll take a shot on him.
Nolan,
Like,
I haven't traded
Yeah,
with
we-
you since like my first or second year in the league.
yeah, I believe that. I trade with the same people over and over, but I don't really like
Let's
go
make a
out.
trade.
We should
We've made
figure
two-
something out.
I'll make a
We've
trade
made
right
2
now over the
trades.
podcast. I got this dude Aguilar, who's the perfect for your ballpark.
Hold on, I'll go over there.
Antonio?
Where's he at?
Yeah, Antonio Aguilar.
Oh
He's,
my
my
God, he
long
is. He
reliever
is
right
perfect
now.
for my
Look at that
ballpark.
slider. Ooh.
He is What do you want for him?
What prospects you got?
Hold on, I'll go on that prospect pipeline real quick.
Yeah. Nothing really, to be honest, right now.
Join the club.
Nothing really, bro. You got like 14 top 500.
That's more than I got.
Yeah, I need some of these outfielders. You trying to trade me a center fielder right now?
I would actually love to trade you guys an outfielder for an infielder.
We'll talk. I'll let Will do his
Yeah,
thing.
we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll yeah.
Leave the prospect
What-
pipeline up for a minute.
What outfielders are you willing to trade?
All of them except for Pineda. I need infielders that are about that
Are you,
age. though.
are you just talking prospects?
Yeah, I just want to swap. Like all my prospects are pitching and out, like
about,
corner outfielders.
Pull up Eric Ford.
I thought you meant major leaguers.
Torn UCL, fragile. Fastball, curveball, slider,
All
nice
right,
pitch
that
mix.
changes everything.
Loyalty, nice agree. I don't know, dude. What do you think?
It's just
We'll
the
figure something out.
fragile-
We'll figure
Look,
something
no, you got to make a trade right now. Look at
I
this.
know I do,
out.
but
Right
the
now.
fragile on the pitcher's kind of concerning.
Yeah, I don't like that
Um,
injury history. Let's move on.
I got a bunch of outfield prospects. What about Billy Tyler? Pull him up for a minute.
Don't think that's gonna
Oh,
happen.
he's nice.
How is he still a
but-
prospect?
Oh,
though? I
he's
thought he
nice.
went through his rookie rating, like his rookie time.
It's I
He
think
has
it's
more than
75
enough
days,
innings, right?
90 days, 75 days.
Yeah,
or
but look
90.
at the innings. He has 70 innings.
I'd
I thought
take
that was
him.
more than the
It
limit.
depends on days though. ML days.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever. Yeah, but
Alright.
you'll take him. But I'm not trading Billy Tyler. What?
Oh, okay.
Although
His
Now
control, his
stubborn.
control's kind of interesting. I don't know how that'll.
Going back to that though, our 2 trades have both been 1-for-1, and I believe both trades have resulted in negative .1 WAR for each of us.
That's fair. It's balanced.
Yeah, they have been very fair.
All right, what else are we
Anyway,
looking at? Hold
Back
on.
to Nolan's prospects.
Yeah, back to my prospects, I guess, because Will
Al
wants to
Jones?
trade
All
us
of these are
me.
like they're the same people. Check out all right, Al Jones.
Oh, sorry,
What
Al
about
Jones?
Sergio Romo?
Hey, he's a giant.
He is.
Or he was.
It's the same picture. That's Sergio Romo.
That is literally Sergio.
He needs a little bit bigger beard.
I noticed that the other day.
He
I was like, that's
does.
literally just Sergio Romo that they were reusing.
Hmm.
They brought him back.
What picks do you have right now?
Pretty much all of them, I think. I don't think I have a first for some reason. I probably traded that on something
trade
stupid.
me.
What about a third? I got a third from.
Trade me Al
someone
Jones in
today.
a third.
Interesting.
For who?
For Aguilar.
Aguilar. Ooh. That is a stuffy guy.
He's very
Yeah, that's a lot.
stumpy.
I'm real into the stuff
Yeah.
right now, though.
He improved a lot between 20 and 21 as well.
Look at the
that
stuff against
107
righties.
slider
That's
is nice.
yeah, and the slider. Yeah, okay, we'll do it. And the third.
In the
What
third.
pick did you say? Okay. Okay, Al Jones in the third.
All right. You want to post?
Exciting.
Yeah, I'll post.
All right.
All right. Nice.
Oh yeah, Bart, you wanted to do a deal as well, right?
Hang on, this is about me. This is my
Oh,
time.
I know.
I
I gotta set the
need-
record for most trades made in a single podcast. I gotta break the record of one.
The
I need
record of one.
thing. I need one thing right now, and I am working.
No,
on a deal
let's
with
just
it
go through
for
Nolan's
someone else.
history.
Okay, so I'll give you the abbreviated tour here. So after I made the playoffs, I was
What
like
happened in
500 for a couple of
2046?
years. 2046,
That's
I
the key
think.
year here, because I had to bail you out.
Yeah, I remember a little bit about this. This is right when I
The
built my stadium, I
Jamaican, Jamie
think.
Langman.
And I remember I built my stadium, and I probably didn't have any money to buy a free agent and fix myself. So I'm assuming I had to just roll with what I had, and obviously what I had was not very good. I had an older Crip Carrington. I had Ed Haynes, who I remember was good for everybody else, and then he was so old when I brought him in. Or maybe I
He was
brought
pretty
him back
meh.
on a retirement tour or something like that.
He
I don't
wasn't all
remember,
that
but
great.
yeah, whatever. Probably fit the
So
bill, fit what I needed.
I just want to make an announcement that I went an entire year without exporting, and I still hit the 50 win mark. So,
Yeah,
and I play in the toughest division.
no comment. I don't know about that. The NL West used to be pretty fucking cutthroat.
NL
Sorry.
best, bro. NL best.
Yeah.
AL West though, where it's so deep every year.
The AL West is a freaking dogfight every year anymore.
Will, do you want my third round or Zergen's?
Whatever one's higher.
Probably mine.
Yeah,
Right?
Zergens is 28th, and yours
yeah.
is eighth.
Second,
So 20 picks higher.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, Nolan, just bend over and let him give it to you. Oh my goodness.
Whatever.
Will just came right out. So have you signed anybody this offseason, Nolan?
Yeah, I signed Dan Schaffer, I
You
guess.
got him out of St. Louis. That's good.
I'm honestly kind of concerned about how he's going to play in my park because I'm concerned about how everybody is going to play in my park. But I think
Hold on, let's pull up Nolan's park factors real quick just to get a
Please
quick
don't.
a quick look.
Please do.
At Mobile One Ballpark.
I think
Is
Schaffer
that
is going to be good. I need the center field is what I needed. That was the big thing that I needed to fill there.
The Padres stadium was bad enough to begin with. Why did you make it worse?
I thought it'd be fun. I thought I could build around it, and I can't,
bad-
obviously.
So just rebuild a stadium.
See, Will was talking about this before the podcast started. I'm fine with rebuilding the stadium again, but it also means being bad for like another 10 years so that I can afford it.
Sorry,
Because
I didn't mean
look
to
at
show
my
your
budget.
finances
just
too much,
continue to
but
be bad for
I don't
another
care. I'll
20.
tell you all day how bad they are.
Actually, Nolan, I'm going to point out that Miami's stadium is worse, and I managed to win there.
hold on, let's look at Miami's ballpark.
Miami's is horrible.
764.
Yeah, that is pretty terrible.
But the doubles are not nearly as like brutal as San Diego. Like,
I'd rather have high doubles in a pitcher's park.
really? Yeah.
See, I think
provide
for a
some
long
offense.
time I tried to build like power guys because
Build
that's
gap
what you
power.
want, right? You know,
Yeah,
everyone's
he
first
kinda
thought is
does.
just go to power guys. But I
Sort
have a
by
lot
a
of
gap
contact
power
and
team.
gap power now, and it still just doesn't really seem.
Can I ask you what the rationale behind Randy Evans is?
He hits, in theory.
Does he?
He doesn't field worth a damn.
Not. It doesn't
102
matter. I
steal.
would rather have a bat than someone who
Not
can
a
play right
chance.
field.
No one crank the
I would
steal.
rather have field
His
setting
zone
up
rating
on
isn't
it.
even that bad. It's negative 1.1. That's not even terrible.
I'm just going to say, look at my middle infield and tell me that defense is not as important.
Yeah, but it's also a right fielder. Like, I just need to put a bat in the lineup
Yeah.
half the time, honestly. I mean, when your offense
rather
is
have-
as terrible as mine is, I literally traded Ryan for somebody who has 0 positional ratings now, and I'm still considering playing him in the field.
Ooh.
Don't focus so much on hitting. Build a team around pitching and defense.
Okay. I guess you haven't seen what I've been doing for the last 10 years because it hasn't worked.
Jim Henderson's a severely
You gotta do it
underrated
the right way.
catcher in the league.
Wilson has chimed in and said that third rounder has already been traded to the Phillies, so it might have to be the Zergens
Really?
third.
Okay. Well, he's
Alright.
taking Zergens then.
Yeah, just edit it then.
We have an amendment. Yeah. So let's see.
Nolan, get to typing.
I already put it in there.
Nolan, who are you most excited about in your system right now, or on your team? I don't even care, whichever one. Do you have anybody that you're just a big fan of?
What's that pitcher's name? Ramirez.
Huge on Stringfellow.
No, you're not.
You
You're a
know.
big fan of Ramirez. Come on.
I am a
Here he
big
is.
fan of Ramirez.
Here's
Okay,
Ramirez.
Look,
It's not
I'm a big
Stringfellow.
fan of Ramirez, okay? But
It's-
Stringfellow
Stringfellow's
is,
going to take that to heart, but it's Ramirez.
I mean, Ramirez is just an exciting play. I would love to watch Ramirez play. Like, just the movement. You don't know what's going to happen, but you know
have a
it's going to be
picture.
crazy.
I have a
I
pitcher
mean-
in my league who was almost exactly the same as him, and he just struck out like 16 per 9 over the course of the season.
his K per 9 is actually really low, I think, for his
For
stuff.
100 something.
Yeah.
I think
stuff.
it's when he went back to being a starter.
I mean, this guy right here,
His Ks per 9 dropped more.
my guy, Jose Malentalvo, he's striking out 14.7 with this at 109. Fastball slider
you starting
change.
him?
Yeah,
also
no,
the
he was
bullpen.
that was relief, but he started the playoffs.
Okay, that was 11 innings.
What do you mean?
His sample size is 11 innings. I feel
Okay,
like
I'm
you
just saying,
can't-
but do you see his Ks per 9? Do you think it's going to
Right,
go below
okay,
10
that's
from here?
No, that's fair.
I mean,
Sorry,
come
I
on.
was only looking at the
RJ
back.
tried to tell me that shit, and I was like, come on, dude, like, get it together. Like it's not going to, I mean, it might go below 14, but it's not going to go less than 13, I'd say.
Right.
Especially with the way the league is
See,
trending
go
right
back to Ramirez, because when
Yeah.
he was relieving, his Ks per 9 were a lot higher, but obviously when you start, your Ks per 9 are less. Like if you check out his pitching stats from last season.
now. Yeah, Montalvo K'd a lot in the playoffs, too. He
Yeah.
started the playoffs, and he K'd, like, in the original sim, which actually got deleted, he K'd 11 Cardinals in 7 innings.
That's pretty nice.
So I mean, he strikes out. I don't know. This guy needs to. I feel like his pitch mix should do more, but maybe not. He doesn't really have like a fastball curveball, which
Oh, is this
Well,
John?
again, he's been starting, so like
Yeah.
when he was relieving, he was above 10 Ks per 9. I don't remember exactly what it was. I guess I can check. But
11.7.
yeah, it was 11.7 Ks per 9 when he was relieving, which is better, but still, I agree it should be higher. It's kind of, especially with like 5 pitches above 70, it's kind of weird. Anyways,
And
I'm
then
really excited
Stringfellow?
about Stringfellow. I just think he's just gonna.
Lucky booster.
He didn't
Lucky
even boost. He was
boost.
just that
Oh,
good.
he didn't even boost. Come on, fuck out of here.
Okay, he boosted a little bit,
Just
but
a little.
I think with 21 doing what it's doing to offenses, I think Stringfellow is just going to be even more nasty.
He did boost this last sim.
Yeah.
An extra 2 points and stuff.
Yeah,
So he's going to be nice for sure at 25 years old. He's going
Right.
to finish. I think he'll finish developing for sure. That last few points of control might even work a few more points into stuff category too. Like you saw this past scouting report where he went up to 108.
Yeah.
So
honestly though, that's like pitching wise, I'm excited about my rotation. I think is going to be pretty legit.
And newly acquired Aguilar.
But yeah, newly acquired Aguilar I think is round us out at number 5. But I really don't know what's going to happen with the offense. That's all I'm worried about. Because nothing that I've worked has tried, or nothing that I've tried has worked. Sorry.
Tim,
Long
can you
day.
sort his team by avoid K real quick?
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, there's some definite issues at bottom. I mean, Randy Evans probably just gonna suck.
Darren
Yeah,
Johnson.
Evans is a guy who, I mean, probably should just be in a DH platoon with somebody.
I'd probably try and get rid of like these bottom. I don't know. At least Darren
I'm trying
Johnson
to
and
move
Jose
to- yeah.
Garcia. I think you could find better. You can find a better left-handed bat than this.
Right.
Especially since left-handed bats are playing 80% of the time in our league. So 75 to 80. So whatever you want to say, but
That's actually the lineup in there is not what I have. Like the outfield I'm planning right now is Whitehead, Schaffer, and Saunders from left to right.
it's your entire organization. So you have Anastasio Pineda. Kind of looks nice.
I love Pineda.
Pineda,
Can't
I'm
give up.
pretty excited about. He's really the only like hitting prospect that I
the
actually
center.
care about in my league right now.
What,
He was learning
when I
left. He was at center at one point. I just moved him to left and then forgot to move him back.
if I was just starting to become competitive instead of finishing my run, I would trade for him.
Yeah,
I
he
would
looks
give
pretty
up
nice.
a lot.
Oh yeah, I would
Uh,
have traded for him if I didn't have just the super deep outfield in my system.
I have a lot of these guys who have like they're outfielders and they're either like only corner outfielders, but they can hit okay, or they're good defensive center fielders, but their contact is like 45 or something. I'm like, that's just
yeah.
never gonna
Yeah.
play. That's one that's
Yeah.
not gonna play in the league, but that doesn't play in my park at all.
This gonna be your first baseman next year?
No, it's the what's his name I just got from LA.
Oh, tipping.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But McAllister, I think, could play first, but he's also I don't know how much he played first last season.
Oh yeah, Nolan, I gotta talk to you about that trade that you did.
Which one?
I feel like the one you just had for
Tipping. Yeah, I'll look up tipping here for you
tipping.
guys.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about this trade.
I do not think it was a good trade at all.
I haven't really looked into it much.
Well, you're gonna look into
You
it
could
now,
have got
Bart.
more out of
Yep.
it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's 103 first base rating. Probably, if he learns third in the in spring training. I mean, remember he's only 29. He
Right.
has high adaptability. He could teach him third in a spring training. He'll probably be
Probably
like
get
a.
up to 50.
I was gonna say a 50 to a 60, probably depending on time, more or less. I don't know. I feel like he could 100% play third base, and then, yeah, I like tipping.
I'm just thinking,
but-
considering what happened or who Nolan traded away,
I mean,
he could have gotten more.
he got himself an established hitter. I mean, hold on. I said this today a few times in the chat that I like Nolan and I had talked pretty extensively about his team last year, and that he was pretty right-handed stacked. Like we had said, like that was like I think your entire lineup was not entire lineup. Your entire infield was
Yeah, probably.
right-handed before Robbie, I believe, right? So it's like
Probably.
we had talked about it. We're like, okay, we got to figure out a way to get rid of Kurt Robinson, this dude who I thought was a hole for Nolan. Oh, I spelled the last name wrong. I thought he was a hole for Nolan just because he didn't have any type of positional flexibility. There we go. He only played second base. I guess he was a switch
He
hitter,
could be a
but
first baseman.
I don't know. Like he was just kind of like meh. He had Salazar at second base, so it was like 100% right for him to let Kurt go and try and find more positional flexibility. And then I think trading like Salazar, which I thought was also a really really good player. I think he's a really good player, but I also think that like Nolan has other righties that can do similar things, and he
I'd
hasn't
trade-
really
trade
proved
for
himself
him,
in
guys.
in his ballpark either. Like you got to realize that. Like
I would love.
I mean, he
Salazar
played
on my
well.
team.
we would
played
all
well.
love him, sure, but like, would you really love looking at a 37, 95, 97, 96 OPS plus? Like,
Yeah,
I
like
didn't. I
his-
didn't have anywhere for him to play defensively.
well, exactly,
And he
but
can't play third.
Salazar also has the problem that Robinson had, where they really can only play second. A 43 arm isn't going to cut it at short, and it's definitely not going to cut it at third. And you're not
you're
going to put
wasting a
that good
double
of a
play at
second
first
baseman.
base.
Yeah, I was going to say you're not going to put that good of a second baseman at first. And honestly, as good of his rating as his ratings are, like a 96 OPS plus is pretty disappointing.
and he's proved it
He's
year
tall
after
for
year.
a second baseman too.
Right. Yeah, and this is not like he didn't have like a down year. Like he's a career like 670 OPS.
Right, he's already an ARB
player.
Like if
Nah,
if he
that
does
plays-
end up, like I think the one caveat here is if he does end up popping off with Los Angeles, just because like if he does have like say like a higher desire to win, right, and he starts popping off, like he's probably gonna command a lot of money. Like
I
Right.
think he's a 760 to 780 OPS guy in a neutral park, and that would
Yeah,
make
I think
most
his
of the
gap power
defense.
will help play up his slugging a lot.
Also-
He'll get a little more
Also,
extra base hits
there's no
that way.
reason he's not stealing 20 plus a year.
yeah, he
Yeah,
should
he
be.
should
be
his
stealing more.
his
There was
stealing
one
slider
year
should
I
have been up
didn't
big
do
time.
anything with my stealing, and I stole like the most bases in the NL. And then I'm actually looking at my stealing the last couple of years, and no one's stealing. So I don't know what the issue is with that.
Interesting.
Just go to player strategy and adjust it.
Yeah, I need to go through and do it all individually.
That's what I do.
I had something else to say about Salazar, but now I don't
yeah.
remember what it was.
Okay, I was gonna look at Knight real quick. It was Sam, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Knight. He one more
I tried
year
to
left
get
on the
him too.
steal. What do we think?
I tried to trade for him, and I was not paying quite the price that LA wanted.
Another fastball, curveball, splitter, whatever on a righty that really hasn't performed throughout his career. At least that's my view.
His strikeout rate's been extremely low. Granted, the league-wide strikeout rate's been low, but
He's still, yeah.
even then,
I mean, look at his
5.5
BABIP though.
per
He
year.
definitely seems like he's a ground ball, like he's gonna put balls in play and rely on his
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah,
Because he's
he
not giving
probably
up a lot of home runs. He's really not walking that many people, at least not last
he
year.
honestly probably would have been perfect for me, but
Right.
He is also coming
I
off
wasn't-
of a torn labrum
yeah,
of 7 months in 2057, 2058, kind of right in that middle period. So I mean, he has had a pretty large injury recently, but not. I guess not.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was so far back.
I feel like the pieces that I would have had to give up to get him, I've used to improve my team in other ways.
Who else did you end up sending in this trade? Robbie Matthews,
That was
right? Just
That was
Robbie.
it. Matthews and Salazar, yeah.
We'll just look at Robbie real
Which-
quick for the sake of looking at
Robbie is, I mean, he's just one of those guys who probably relies too much on,
His ability
like-
to hit the righty.
yeah, well, his ability to hit the righty for one, and also like his power, and he just doesn't hit home. You're not gonna hit home runs in my park.
Yeah, this
You're
is
not
gonna
gonna
be
get that
his
slugging boost in my park.
his
He
fourth.
had a
feel like you could've
357
gotten
slugging.
more out of Robbie, or
357 slugging.
I feel like you could have gotten more for Robbie Matthews in a separate trade.
Dude, I mean, in realistic sense, I have not. I've been selling,
Yeah.
right? I haven't had a lot of interest in any first baseman, even Esteban. So,
That's fair.
I mean, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I just think that the need right now in the league is not all that high for first baseman. That's just my opinion.
There's
So,
ton-
I disagree there, Will.
there's tons of guys who can just hit but can't field. At one point a couple of years ago, I had like 6 or 7 guys in my top 4 levels of my system that were like that.
I'd say Robbie's damn near DH at this point, maybe with the 10 range.
Yeah.
That's not going to play that well. It's negative 6.4 ZR, negative 9 on the season. So, he'll probably if I had to guess, he'd probably DH for.
Yeah, I think he probably has a better home there than he does for me, and I like tipping at first better. I don't know if I'll play him at first. I'll have to see how the rest of the offseason goes, but I think I like him at first better than Matthews, and he also hits the lefty a little bit better.
Who is it?
Tipping.
Oh yeah, tipping. Yeah, yeah. He's definitely a little bit better, I think.
Just way better at first base, like by a shit ton, and hits
How
the
much
lefty
do you
a little bit
value first base defense?
better.
I mean,
It depends.
I mean, we're comparing. It's like Robbie had what -9, and this guy put up
Yeah.
+5. So you're right. It
Right.
really just depends on how much of you're valuing that +15 difference. In ZR.
Right.
I would place a decent amount of value on that.
3 errors versus. I guess I don't think I compare fielding stats in the compare thing, but 3 errors. Let me see.
No, I don't think you can.
I mean, I'm
Versus
still kind of.
Robbie only had 2 errors, but still like his zone rating was just not that great. His efficiency was
It's also only 90 games. How many did Tipping play at first?
919.
Just compare them.
You can't do fielding stats though.
Oh,
Yeah, so Tipping played way more. He had way more chances in games at first than Matthews did too. Because I think I had Steve McAllister playing a little bit of first. Steve McAllister is an interesting player, but he's not that interesting. Just kind of average at pitching and playing first base.
All right, where are we going to next? What are we filming?
do you want to talk more about San Diego's history in the 2050s?
Yeah, sure. It's a good call. Let's see. Where did San Diego go into the 2050s? So they started with a 50-win season right off the bat in 2050. Any of these seasons stick out to you guys that we would talk about? You got 50 wins, 58, 62, 60, 75, 72, 72, 74, 72. You kind of been stuck
You
in a
could
rut,
just say
Nolan.
this past season.
Yeah, there was definitely a time where I jumped up like 15 wins. And from there, I've kind of just been stuck in that rut again.
Yeah, we'll look at this
We
past
had
season.
Nolan at a sleeper playoff team, and it just never came together.
Just never came, yeah. So this season he had Cesar Salazar leading his WAR leaderboards. And then Jim Henderson, but not much else to be, I don't know. Not much else there.
No, it was pretty quiet season, honestly. I traded away. I feel like I traded away a pretty decent hitter at some point.
You and Texas, you guys like basically swapped Inu for Schaefer.
Yeah.
Interesting, but yeah, I think Stringfellow is just like one of the biggest things to keep watching with this team. Alomar, he's okay. 70, 70, 70. You know, those are always going to play well in the ERA plus category, which is big. So, and then Randy Howard, we'll talk about him real quick. What do you think about him?
Howard is such a sleeper. Like nobody. I talk about my players more than anybody else, obviously, and I barely even talk about Howard. But he had a really good season last year, and I think he's pretty low key guy. But
Starting
he
to
does
come into
okay.
his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely refining, bringing it down a tenth of a point in home run per 9, a third of a point in BBs per 9, and then up in his Ks by almost 2/3 of
He's
a
one of your 70 guys.
of a point.
He doesn't
So
throw a curveball.
no, I love that. I love this style of player because they always strike out the righties who. I don't know. I just like
How much
this.
do y'all value hold runners as an attribute?
Not that much. I don't
even
look
think
at it
I've ever looked
explicitly.
at it.
I mean, I look at it, but it's not like that much, you know.
I feel the same way about it.
I think it's just
maybe it might for a reliever, especially if you throw it in a if you throw him in a high leverage role,
yeah.
then maybe it matters.
Tim,
Gotcha.
search up Rob Garcia real quick just to see how much he's fallen off. Remember when we would talk about Garcia and we just thought he was going to be so good, and
And then
he
he
was
just
like
ended up
70,
like-
70, 70 at one point, and then his arm just fell off. Just out of the blue, too.
Oh wow, yeah, he was up there. He started as was he an international free agent?
I don't remember.
No, 26th overall pick in 2045.
I was going to say, I thought I drafted him.
Let's see here. Hold on, I'm rolling down here. 2045. So he came as a 63 overall at 26 overall in the draft. Jumped up to a 76. I guess you moved him to reliever too, which will change it. But he ended up jumping to a 66. And then right here he jumped to a 69. Peaked as a 69 potential starter and then has just never been the same. And that was in 2050. So if we look at his statistics here.
Actually, in 2051, I saw him as a 72, which is when I
So
called him up.
2051 right in there. He ever since you brought him up, he's declined pretty much.
Other than that 4 WAR year. Or no, that's
just that random.
Kind of just popped
No,
up
that's more.
that 1 year and then that was it, you know.
Which, I mean, I'll take two and 2.5 WAR out of a fifth guy in the rotation any day of the week. But it just sucks that was it. That was all I got was like 7, 8 WAR out of him, and then everything else was just bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's tough. Too bad that he's dead. Did you give him a contract? A little bit. You gave him a little bit of money. Not too much.
That wasn't too much.
12, 14. He'll make
of course,
14
right after he played well, I signed
Not that
him
real
to,
Viva money though.
No. Yeah.
Hey, he
I've
made a
definitely
little
taken
bit
on
of cash
that
at 35.
contract. Yeah.
Not too bad. All right, you guys. Well, this has been a fun episode of the San Diego Padres. I got one more question for Nolan before we wrap up here.
Okay.
When do you think you realistically are going to make the playoffs again? What year?
Never.
Don't be like that.
Okay. Realistically, I think within the next 2 or 3 years, I probably have a pretty decent chance. I think that I'm kind of going to catch, if Pierre is rebuilding, I think that's a huge opportunity for me. If I can catch, a couple other teams with a down year, maybe a big injury or something, I really think I'm close.
You might win 90 games this year. Just
Oh,
because.
You
don't
think
say that. It's
Hold
just
on,
gonna
hold
be
on, no,
really
listen.
better
divided,
than
and then
LA and St. Louis?
No, those are going to be both good teams. They're probably going to replace Wilson and I 1-2, realistically, in the division. Then there's going to be a hodgepodge for that third spot, which is going to be that 3-4
right.
wild card spot that they're going to battle
Colorado.
for.
And that's all I'm worried about, though, is
'Cause
making it into a wild card spot.
I'm going to
Because
be free
everything else
wins.
is just who knows.
I'm going to be free wins next season. Let me go through this. San Francisco is going to be free wins. Arizona explicitly has told me that he's not buying, so he's going to be free wins. Colorado is in that little grouping of good teams. I'm gone. Wilson's gone. So 1-2, and then I think it's probably between Colorado and San Diego, and who can improve the most in this offseason to get
Meanwhile,
that.
the AL West, there's a bloodbath.
It's a bloodbath. Yeah, it's gonna be disgusting.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
they've been a
nasty.
bloodbath the last couple years, so it's
And-
not really
I feel-
that surprising.
I feel solid about it though.
And then also real quick, I just want to say this: when we look at the NL East, they're also pretty good. You know, I mean, they got a lot of good teams over there. I think that that's also going to help Nolan in the fact that he's going to get a lot of games against losing teams. Whereas in NL East, they're just going to batter and bruise each other and come out with a more even record because there's more winning teams. You know, I mean,
Do you think we will get a Tomtober?
oh, that's tough. What do you guys think? We'll go one by one.
What if we had?
Hold on.
Hang on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Bart, what do you think? Tomtober, is it happening this year?
Yes.
Zed. You there?
Yeah,
John,
I
wake
think
up.
pretty decent chance.
Okay, decent. Yes or no? 0 or 1. Does he make it or no?
Hmm?
Does
Oh,
Tom?
yeah, I said
Does Tom make
yeah,
the
there's a
playoffs?
pretty decent chance.
No. Yeah, I want a yes or no answer though.
Yeah, he'll make.
Okay, yes, he makes it. So wait, Bart, yeah, that's a yes for you too.
Yes.
Okay, so two yeses. Nolan, what do you think?
I think
Tomtober.
that we need a double Tomtober. We need Tommy Rockies Tober, and we need Pittsburgh Pirates Tober.
We need both. Okay, so is that a yes for you then? You thinking that?
That's a yes, I guess.
Okay,
That's
Tom.
a yes.
That's your
And I
endorsement.
wholeheartedly agree
Right.
with Nolan on that.
I'm
we need
going to say-
maximum chaos.
I'm gonna say that no. Tom does not make the playoffs next year. Just to be the outlier here.
Well, I mean, Jamie's gonna lose a ton. New York is the biggest question.
Miami is not bad, and neither is Washington. Washington acquired Danny Cherry. They have a starter
they have
now.
Kevin Davis.
They have a legit number one now in Danny Cherry. So I don't know. He's got Naomi Kudo coming back. I think he had a down year last year just due to injury. Dan Rogers, 75 potential. I don't know. I think Washington's gonna be good, but we've said
Yeah,
that
that
previously.
rotation looks
So
pretty solid.
we've also said these things previously, like last year, this time off season, he was not that great. So, yeah. Any last statements before we conclude?
I have a question for the class.
You can go first.
So if you were, since this is a Padres podcast, the PADCast, if you were gonna make one change to the team, what would it be?
Hold on.
Never build that ballpark.
Okay, well it's a little late for that. Well, thanks.
Yep, implode your current ballpark and build a new one.
Wow.
It doesn't
okay.
matter if you lose for the next 10 years. Build a new one.
What's
Trade
worse, losing for 10 years or losing for 20?
trade Randy Evans,
All eternity.
Darren Johnston, and who is that other poopy guy?
This I don't know. Someone I called up at the end of last year that was not very good.
Garcia?
Garcia, yeah.
Yeah, just delete them. Release.
Okay.
Maybe not release, but
Evans. I mean, there's got to be someone who just needs like a
Evans
backup
is
DH to just
definitely
sit
a
in
DH.
AAA.
Dude, in your ballpark, you need a someone who's gonna, I don't know, reach the corners. I feel like your dimensions are just massive.
Yeah, it's an interesting stadium.
You're hitting doubles, but you're not hitting home runs. So if you
Nolan,
don't have
I'll say
range, then
this.
yeah. What was that?
If you
Will?
want to make Nolan, if you want to make trades with more people, be the one to message them first.
Yeah,
I do a lot.
you got to slide in the DMs.
I won't say a lot, but I try and like I messaged Green Monster today about moving Johnson because I saw he posted he needed a catcher. Like I'm trying to do stuff here, but I don't always have I guess the pieces that people are looking for.
I guess we totally forgot about talking about Kevin Davis today, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have to keep talking about him.
I think we should though, just
We
for
spent
for
2
clarity's
hours and
sake.
30 minutes today about not talking about Kevin Davis. So
It's been a good day.
Kevin Davis is just another player, just like Rick Roy,
I
just
think
like
he's an all-star.
Kripp, just like
No, I'm
Garza.
joking. I'm joking. He
All these players who just couldn't play in
Certainly
San Diego, but they left San Diego and
certainly
they
a
were
core
fantastic.
piece of San Diego history.
suddenly totally forgot about him. He was like, ugh, he was so good too, man.
He really filled out his power when he left San Diego too. That's one thing that really helped his numbers just in general. Is like his last season in San Diego, he doubled the home runs that he hit. That's really what kept him
Ballpark.
afloat, honestly.
Well, any last closing statements?
Yes, kind of unrelated. I'm sure most of you have seen by now, but keep an eye out in the next day or two for the upcoming GM interview series. It won't be too different than what this was, but it may not focus quite as much on specific years of a team's history and stuff. But that will be coming soon.
Nice. Little self-advertising for Bart's newest
Yeah.
podcast. Do you have a title for it?
No.
Is it
Not
story
yet.
story time
Bartcast.
with Bart? Is Bartcast?
No, we don't have anything for that yet.
Are you gonna take
It's in the works.
crowd collected names?
Potentially.
Someone's got to have something for you.
Yeah.
I just gave you a great idea,
What was
and
that?
Tim did too.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
Story Time with Bart or Bartcast.
Yeah, there's potential options.
Talking with Tasty.
That could be a good one. That could be a good one.
All right. Any last statements before I wrap it up right here?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching the PSDcast episode 8 on the San Diego Padres. Yeah, it was fun. Have a good one, guys.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.